Are you saying you faked with me?
Yeah.
Wrong. Now you're single.
What do you know about sexual relations?
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
You're listening to the Come With Us podcast, talking the good, the kinky, and the ugly. Here are your hosts, Beth, Aaron, and Tina.
Hello, 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 all you sexy holes and poles. Welcome to Come With Us podcast, where you're part of all the naughty, sexy, fun conversations everyone wants to listen in on. Oh, today we are going to be digesting the trip that Aaron and I made to New Orleans for Naughty in New Orleans. Naughty Nolans.
Yeah. Well, Naughty in New Orleans. The website is naughtynolans.com, which is cool.
Yeah.
But it's Naughty in New Orleans.
Yeah. Some variation of that.
But. Yeah. Anybody who listened last week, we were in New Orleans when we recorded with Tiffany Anton. So now that Tina is back in the mix, and because she couldn't go with us because she had a prior engagement, I didn't even think I was going to go because I had a prior engagement that ended up getting called off. So I literally texted you, I think on Wednesday, and was like, hey, I'm coming.
Yes.
I'll be there Friday morning. So, but yeah,
coming is always a great way to start,
I would have loved to have come, by the way.
I know, next year.
I know.
They're saving rooms for us already.
I was very jealous. It sounded like a lot of fun.
But yeah, now that you're here, we figured for anybody who either didn't listen to Tiffany Anton last week or has never heard of Naughty in New Orleans or wanted to go or is trying to convince their significant other or whatever, we were going to let you be the guinea pig. You get to interview us about what we saw, what we did, what was going on. So somebody who has no idea what it is, only through the website, can ask questions. So we're going to let you run most of it.
And by the way, I'm Beth Darling.
Yeah, sorry.
Sexy genius. I know we've been so excited. It's like, no, don't talk until we get on air. And Aaron and I are dying to tell Tina all of this stuff because, in fact, Aaron said he left with a smile, which I thought was really good because, Aaron doesn't do that. But anyway, I'm Beth Darling, Sexy Genius. You can learn more, find my book, and classes and everything at bethdarling.com. So please go check me out there and sign up for my email list. And then hopefully also we're going to be able to send links and stuff as more information about Naughty New Orleans next year comes about. We'll keep you in touch with that. So, all right. So anyway, and that's Aaron, and we're here with Tina, and yay, welcome to Come With Us podcast.
Yay.
All right.
Okie dokie.
Now we can be off and running. Go ahead.
Yes. So you guys went for the whole thing, I'm guessing, right? So
I went for the whole time.
Aaron,
I was there Friday, Saturday.
And
so it runs Tuesday or Wednesday through Saturday.
Right. The opening, I think you could check in on Tuesday, which is when I got there, but the official opening event started on Wednesday. But
you were allowed to get there Tuesday because you were a teacher.
No, anybody could. Plus then I went to a cooking class. I went to a Cajun or Creole cooking class.
Like a sexy cooking class or just a regular cooking
but
class?
it was just for the people that were there for Naughty Nolans.
Yeah.
But
I meant to ask you questions about that when I got there.
Yeah.
And was the city packed with people for the event itself, or
so
was it
they had,
it was on Bourbon Street, I'm guessing, right?
So what they do is they book off one entire hotel, and it's the Crown Plaza, which is right there at Bourbon and Canal at the very top of Bourbon Street.
And they call it a hotel takeover.
It is a hotel takeover. They get every single room only at that hotel. Like nobody can stay there except if you're with the event. And then they had so many people this year. They had an overflow hotel.
2 overflow hotels.
They had 2 overflows?
2 overflows.
Oh, wow, shit. They didn't tell me that. Yes. We were talking to the people who run it, Bob and Tess. They said, 2,700 people?
I heard 2,100, but then maybe 2,200.
I heard a lot of numbers thrown around. Over 2,000 people were there just for that.
Ton of people.
There were, it's New Orleans, so it's a convention city.
Yeah.
There was another convention going on for visually impaired people. There was another convention going on for teachers. Like the whole city was just packed.
Yeah.
And was this hotel insane? This Crown Plot, was there did y'all see some crazy shit going on in the hotel? Because it's not a sex thing, right? People aren't having sex in hallways. No, in public spaces. Let me rephrase that.
Okay, so let's talk about what's a public space. So so let's say, so in terms of what a hotel takeover means, right? The first thing is, because everybody there has to be part of this event, everybody there has to sign an agreement that they are okay with nudity. That's the first thing. So that way,
and was there a lot of nudity?
There's lots of very scanty scantily clad and stuff.
And nudity, depending on what part of the hotel
depending
you were
on
in.
where. Right.
Yeah.
So then let's say in the lobby and stuff, you had to have some clothing on.
Yeah.
It was
Um,
encouraged.
It was encouraged.
Now,
At the pool, you could be completely nude, but there was no sex allowed at the pool.
Okay.
there was not supposed to be.
Right.
But we'll talk about that in a
Allowed.
second.
Exactly.
But the way they did this hotel takeover is they had 24-hour security sitting at the front of the walk-in of the hotel,
Yeah.
where you had to show your badge just to get in the
Right,
place.
right,
Like there were
right.
people who
That
tried to
makes
get
sense.
into one of the party nights we were at, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we want to go to this party." And they're like, "Are you part of the event?" They're like, "No." They're like, "All right, cool. Turn around and
Yeah,
go
yeah,
away.
yeah,
There's a party on Bourbon
obviously.
Street. Go find that."
Yeah.
No, for real.
So
I
it's-
feel like was a given.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So then what happens though is then they had like the ballrooms, two big ballrooms. Every evening they would have a big party. One of them was like EDM music and the other would have more, I don't know, older music, whatever. But again, dancing a ton. There was a theme for every night, and people, the costumes
What
and
were the
everything were
themes?
incredible.
Do y'all remember-
So
one was-
first night was what the lingerie night party.
Yeah, that
Thursday
makes
night
sense.
was
Thursday night was there was a Burning Man.
Oh yeah, it was
And
a
there was a
Burning Man
Mardi
theme
Gras.
party. No,
And a Mardi
was there a
Gras.
second Mardi Gras party? Because
One
Mardi
a
Gras was on
Mardi Gras-
Saturday.
Right. Well, that was the Mardi Gras theme party. Yeah.
Saturday.
Saturday night.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Thursday night was Burning Man. Friday night was White Linen Night, where they actually do a giant second line parade all the way through the French Quarter.
Oh,
Sexual Freedom Parade.
Yeah, and they end
what
up.
is a sexual freedom parade?
It
Yeah.
was-
Okay, we'll talk.
Everybody
yeah.
wanted to go. I mean, we'll explain that in a second. And that ended up at a party at the House of Blues down in New Orleans, which was a White Linen Night party, which is when we actually went back to the hotel and recorded with Tiffany.
Yeah.
And then Saturday night was a big Mardi Gras masquerade ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, because, well, it's in New Orleans in July and it's hotter than fucking Satan's titties, that, you know, I'm going to be fine in my regular shorts, my nice fishing shirt. I got a nice purple fishing shirt that goes with Mardi Gras. I've worn it to Mardi Gras parties before and stuff like that. No, people were in 3-piece suits. Women were in fucking ball gowns. It was ridiculous. And luckily I didn't go to the party because I would have been the most underdressed and everybody would look at me and like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
But
the costumes.
so yeah, those are the different night theme parties that they had.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is on the second floor is the ballrooms, right?
Okay.
So, and then everybody's mingling and talking and moving between, but you could go and dance and whatever,
Yeah.
and hobnob. Then above the second floor, where if you were doing a regular convention, these would be like your smaller breakout rooms,
Yeah,
meeting
yeah,
rooms
yeah.
and stuff. The second
Second
to
and a
end,
half.
right? Second and a half floor, all of those rooms were done up as sex rooms. The hotel staff was not allowed in. So as soon as you got off the elevator,
Yeah, they had their own private cleaning company and all that stuff that
Yeah.
was going in. And
What
And-
about
and-
phones and stuff?
well, so okay, as soon as you got off the elevator at that second and a half
Okay.
floor, you couldn't really walk in. There was sort of a curtain divider, and you couldn't walk in until you were in either some sort of lingerie or sexy attire. So you couldn't. Aaron couldn't have, not that he tried, but he couldn't have gone in his
Okay.
shorts and shirt
Okay.
Yeah.
because this is an area that's definitely
for men, they wanted you in boxers or a robe.
Okay.
or a G-string, or something
Yeah,
less.
something.
But,
But yes,
that was like
the
the
maximum
most
you were allowed to
coverage.
wear was a robe.
yes,
And was it like akin to like a swingers kind of situation, basically?
Yes, they'd have some rooms
Swingers
with
room.
tons of big beds. They had some private rooms, some with curtains. They were decorated beautifully. I have to say, I was really impressed. Some of them
Yeah,
were
yeah.
really, really very cool. Oh, and there's one room that we'll have to tell you about in a little bit that was called the +1 room. So,
Oh god.
oh my God, yes, it was amazing. But okay, so that's where basically that's in that area and stuff. There's all sorts of fucking and sexy and whatever. And so because you weren't supposed to be fucking in the ballrooms, I don't think you were supposed to be nude, but certainly you could be wearing very revealing stuff.
Yeah.
Etc. And then was there any and there was like a dungeon area.
Yeah,
That
they
was
had those
actually where
3
the ballrooms.
rooms. Yeah. So the second
bit of
floor
dungeon.
had your big 2 ballrooms, and then it had smaller little classrooms. And during the day, it was filled with classes.
Yeah.
Think of a sexual topic you're interested in. I guarantee there was some class taught there. Beth taught what, 5, 6
I did
classes?
6 workshops.
6 workshops?
3
Yeah,
days.
2 per day.
2 per day. I was exhausted, and they were all new workshops. I mean, even the ones there were 2 that I have done before, and I revised them and stuff. So it was a lot.
And
but
you
it
had
was
to
so
sign
much
up for the
fun.
workshops and stuff.
Yeah.
Some were paid, some were free.
Okay.
It just depended on who was teaching it and stuff. Like I've got the schedule in front of me. Let's see, what day was this? Friday. Starting at 11, there was a couples massage class. There was one called Pleasure Mapping and the Science Behind Fucking. Beth had her How to Blow His Mind While Loving His Body class, which you can also get the virtual version at BethDarling.com.
Oh, yes.
There was one on tantric breathing, hypnosis. There was one teaching you how to do an erotic photo shoot with your partner.
That's awesome.
Right.
There was
Tons of really
our friends
great
John and
classes.
Jackie who own the Swingers Club. They did classes on how to make open relationships work, how to be swingers, all that stuff, dating in the swinging lifestyle.
John and Jackie came to my power workshop, and one made me nervous, and I don't usually get nervous and stuff, but 2 liked it, and really it was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
to have
That's
them there.
awesome.
I was really excited, but yeah.
So basically a lot, like you have a varied amount. You could probably find any type of workshop that really covers most.
Pretty much
They had
anything
a
that you
lot.
want.
Yeah.
There was a lot, and it was not just if you were a swinger, right? There were things that were good for everybody about dealing with different things. So yeah.
And this is what got me in trouble last week when we were talking to Tiffany while we were there, is because I pointed out, so it's billed as a lifestyle event.
Lifestyle
and
meaning swinger
swingers,
lifestyle.
but there were also several out of the over 2,000 people. I could say probably at least a quarter, maybe a third of them were not swingers. You could just tell. And they called me on and said, "Oh, that's bullshit. You can't tell." But the problem is that they never paid attention to the fact that I was watching and listening to people talk to each other, and I was listening to couples get hit on by other couples, and then being like, "No." So I kept a running tally of how many times I heard other couples hitting on other couples, and that couple going, or couple B going, "Oh no, we're not here for that." So I could easily say at least a quarter of the population there was not swingers. They were just married people that wanted to,
But it seems like
explore.
it's packed enough with so many different things that you don't have to be a swinger to enjoy like the,
Right.
doing all this. Like I would have a really good time here, and I'm not a swinger, so like,
Yeah.
one
exactly.
of those things that
I had a great time, and I was solo.
Yeah.
I wasn't participating.
Yeah.
Frankly,
Right.
I wasn't involved in fucking or kissing or making
Yeah.
out or hitting it. But it's so much fun just to be around people who are just open about it and hearing their stories. And I think what surprised me so much about the people that were there, that I was afraid I was going to be one of the older ones, and it was going to be obvious.
Oh, I knew you wouldn't.
And I wasn't. And that there were so many couples who had happy relationships
Yeah,
of
we
20
talked
to
about-
35
yeah.
years. I mean, it was just, oh my God, it's so cool. And some of them had been swinging a long time, and some just a little time.
I
But-
was telling someone the other day about the Melfis too.
Yeah.
We were talking about the same exact thing because they were like asking, I don't know how swinging came up, but I was like, honestly, because I know because I just got out of this relationship and all this stuff, and there's trust communication, and I was telling them, and I was like, look, like for real, like these 2 people have like one of the best relationships I've ever met.
Yeah.
And they're swingers, and like that's a testament to the fact that like. Number one, like you really have to be like honest and communicative and like have a really, really like deep connection and trust with that person to be swinging. Because then I think, which is beautiful. It's what everyone wants in a relationship.
I
right?
mean,
Yeah.
The 2 of you guys know me. I'm a judgmental asshole. Like I don't really care what people do in their own life. I don't, and I never really have judged swingers. I don't care.
Right.
It doesn't bother me. I don't take offense to it. I
Right.
I had
Doesn't
told one couple
threaten
who it turns out, I guess, were hitting on me at some point. They were asking, like, they had asked me questions and stuff. I guess they were trying to feel out who I was and what I was doing, because I was like, I'm here as like a observer media person. I just want to come back and report on what I found.
Did
Mhm.
Danielle go too?
No, my wife did not go because she had to work. She actually would have gone had she not, but it is in the plans in the future to go. Again, we're not swingers by any means. We're both the jealous type anyways.
Yeah.
But she's open to going and just going
of
and
course.
going to the seminars and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But what occurred to me, and I told you this, the drive home, because I drove from Houston, New Orleans back. Most everybody else flew. But on my drive home Sunday morning, I smiled the whole way home, and I couldn't figure out why I was in such a good mood, why I was so not only eager to get home. Like, because anytime I'm away from my wife, I want to get home. But like, why I was, I don't know. I don't know ways to describe it. I guess like when we were first dating, like that little like heart racing thing for 5.5 hours, which I'm lucky I don't have a heart condition because I probably would have died. But I couldn't figure it out. And then I hit around the Lake Charles area. And if you're not familiar with the area, it's about 2 hours outside of Houston. It's 3 hours away from New Orleans on the west side of Louisiana. And it struck me. I'm not part of that lifestyle. I don't, participate in it. But everybody around us, no matter what you think of people who are swingers or how they, some people will go, oh, how can you have a marriage like that? Again, don't worry about that. Every single person was happy and loving.
Yes.
Like extremely loving. And
yes,
like there was, cause I went to a couple of different parties that were at bars on Bourbon Street during the day. And literally I saw a guy who was maybe in his late 60s, like literally groping his wife who was in her mid 60s at the time, like couldn't keep his hands off her. Like, and like, she was okay with it. And like, they weren't doing anything like really lewd, but he was constantly had his hand on her ass, had his hand around her waist, kissing her on the neck, all kinds of stuff. And it's interesting because you look at what the divorce rate is in the rest of the world and you look at how unhappy, I've been around unhappy married couples. You all have been around unhappy married couples, not ones that you're in,
right?
But been around couples where you look at it and you're like, God, they're like, you can feel that they're not happy. They're not affectionate. They don't give off that vibe, that aura of love.
Yeah.
Basically everybody there did.
Yes!
No matter what. And it I don't know if it just soaked into me, but I was sitting there and I was like, I got home. I couldn't keep my hands off my wife and she had to go to work again. I was like, no, this is not fun. This is not fair. Like, I just want to hang out and like lounge around with you on the couch and be all lovey dovey and all that shit. Yeah. So it's a very positive energy to be in. Yeah. It's a very loving energy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I love that because if I had said that, you'd like roll your eyes and you'd go, "Oh, Beth's such a sap." Yeah. But the fact, right, that you got it, and that it's so vibrant. It is really pretty incredible. Yeah, I think.
And on the flip side, did you guys meet any kind of nefarious people, or was
what do you mean by nefarious?
Oh, not nefarious, like kind of
like
not
creepy,
kind of people there who were, I don't know.
And I definitely had some people that, sometimes I don't do subtleties, so I don't really know subtle people were trying to pick me up, but some were very overt.
Yeah, but
they did so in such nice fashions.
Yeah,
they would openly say, "Oh, if you're into that, I would love to play with you. We would love to play."
Yeah,
right? They were just, but it was so nicely given.
Right.
I never felt any like, "Oh God, this is going to be hard," or "Oh, I'm worried about saying no," or something. I felt good, like that they just liked me and they were willing to make that plain. Yeah. And it was really kind of loving. And people would even, "Can I give you a hug?"
Yeah.
And I never had anybody touch me inappropriately. I never felt like somebody was looking. And this is what I
didn't have anybody
like,
touch me at all except for like a handshake or like hugs of people that we know already or we met and like went to dinner with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a real
it was incredibly respectful and people compliment outfits and stuff all the time.
Was there like a lot of security and stuff too?
Yeah. Definitely in the hotel. Like I said, in the hotel had plenty of security, so nobody was getting in that hotel or the other hotel without having the correct ID bands and stuff like that on. The parties, because I don't know if you went to any of the parties on Bourbon Street. I did during the afternoon.
To say, but you can't really control the parties on Bourbon Street.
No, they did because they had private parties.
They were booking off specific bars.
Okay.
Again, they had 2,100 people, so there were a lot of different events. You couldn't go to everything.
Which one did I go to?
No, they would book places out. Did you go to Razoo or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I went to Razoo. I went looking for the country bar because they were doing country dancing, which I know how to do. So I just wanted to go and kind of judge people based on how good they were doing it.
Dancing?
No, it was just like two-stepping. But I literally took a bunch of our cards and lube samples that you have.
Oh yeah.
And I was handing them out like to people on Bourbon Street. We have new stickers now. I was slapping them on every freaking light pole.
Stickers, they look
every freaking stop sign, everything on Bourbon Street had at least 2 of our stickers on it.
Yeah.
And I was down there when a massive storm hit. And so everybody else was running away, and I was like, I'm not scared of a storm. I lived through hurricanes. Like, what's the worst that's going to fucking happen to me? I get struck by lightning. I'll have a cool story to tell. And then I went into the one bar. They had a Bourbon Street party. What was it? So I went in there, and I was just I mean, it was a packed madhouse anyways, but I literally was just walking up to couples and being like, hey, try some lube, listen to my podcast, let me know what you think. Cool.
Yeah. And everybody was talking to you about it, right? There was nobody who was like, oh, leave us alone or something.
No. And there were some people who were like, there were some couples who were like, no, I don't need lube like that. Like, cause it was flavored lube, which we had a taste test in the lobby of the hotel one night.
Yeah. It was
some
flavored
people were
lube,
looking,
by the way.
Yeah. And some people would look at it and be like, oh, that's not really my flavor. And I was like, that's fine too. Take it anyways and give it to somebody.
Yeah.
And then I had a lot of people take it like couples together, because most it is all couples. There are very few singles. Take it and just look at each other. And I was like, now you have to promise me you're going to get use out of that tonight. Like, I don't care who uses on who, but somebody is going to taste that lube tonight off of somebody else. And they would laugh and giggle and and then go back to their life. But it was a lot of.
And sorry.
No, go ahead.
Was it mostly heterosexual couples or people, or was there, a varied amount of like, people who are gay or lesbian or bi or whatever you are these days?
I think primarily it's hetero couples, but then there is within the swinging lifestyle, there's always been a very big acceptance of female, girl on girl kind of action and stuff like that. But this time there was even a specific room set aside for bi men.
Bi men, okay.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah, and I'm a mixed. I don't think that should have to be segregated and stuff. But their point is that we're not trying to segregate, but we are trying to make it. This is a comfortable place, and this belongs to you. So nobody is going to then be appalled or shocked or surprised, etc.
But no,
that's
separate
still a
room
little unusual
for gay, just
right.
specifically
So I
gay
think
men.
that's not.
And I'm sure. I think that they
lifestyle
must
so
have
much.
their own similar kind of thing.
Well, they have what's it
It's a whole
called?
different-
Decadent Weekend,
Yeah,
or
or
whatever in
something
New
like
Orleans. That
Yeah.
So, but I do see on the schedule like there was a drag brunch and stuff.
Oh, they definitely had drag brunches. They definitely were open to cross-dressing and this, that, and the other and stuff. So that was
cool.
that was okay. And part and parcel. It just wasn't that. It wasn't a gay community.
I get that. Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah.
So it
And
was kind of.
was there a lot of kink BDSM stuff going on, or
I'd say a fair amount.
yeah?
I mean, there was a dungeon. So, like Beth said, there was the floor that they did that they had the big ballrooms and where they were doing the classes and everything. There was also that became a dungeon at night after hours.
Okay.
But you had to walk through the setup because they're not moving all this kink furniture. So,
right.
I walked by 4 or 5 different St. Andrew's crosses the whole time.
Yeah, and they had a really
there were
nice
cages. There were
spanking bench. And
they had all kinds
pole
of stuff.
dancing and and floggers.
So, yeah,
you could borrow.
I don't know what the amount of people that went to it when it became after hours, because I didn't go to any of the after hours kinds of stuff. Just I had an agreement with my wife that I'm going by myself. I'm not going to any of those things.
Right.
So,
but you
I don't
went
know.
to the after hours stuff.
So I gotta say, actually, I really was so tired. But I went the very first night when the dungeon was open, and I found a guy who was really good with a flogger, and I got a flogging, and that was awesome. And in fact, it was so satisfying that I forgot to go back the other days. I just was really beat, and there was just a lot going on. And so I would go for the parties and basically just sort of talk to people and stuff. But that's about it. They had a cool photo thing that I didn't do. They have food. They brought food midnight. They served pizza in the sexy
that's awesome.
parts, where people were fucking and stuff, so you could re-energize.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they
eat pizza while you're fucking.
Or after,
That
I
is
guess.
so
Yeah,
funny.
it was pretty cool. So I just got one flog, and then I didn't go back. So I don't know how busy it got in the dungeon or something. But most of the people there were not terrifically kinky. There were some people who
there were some
but-
people that were, because they were in and around the dungeon, because there was a guy there who makes hand makes crops and floggers and all that stuff.
Leather goods.
And there were plenty of people who were looking at it and be like, oh, this will be great for our collection.
Yeah.
But then there were also couples that I saw who were like going in and kind of like dipping their toe in the water and like, I don't know. And then they would sample something and be like, okay, cool, we'll take 2 of those.
Yeah.
And then disappear.
So
like,
people
literally off the floor.
were like hawking's the right guy, but selling products, right? They're like
there
an
were
expo.
some
There were a
vendors,
couple.
but
Vendors.
not very many. A corset
Okay.
place and the
Boudoir,
leather goods and
there was a
photos.
boudoir
Okay.
photography shoot.
Yeah,
but less expo, more like
Yeah,
festival
yes.
kind of.
absolutely. So we
Yeah.
did a little table for our
Yeah.
show and stuff, but it was very, improv. We
Yeah.
definitely
There were
next
4
year
or 5
we'll do
different
way
podcasts
better.
there
Yeah,
that
yeah,
had
yeah.
tables and setups and merch and all
Oh,
that.
that's
fun stuff.
interesting. So,
Yeah.
did you like talk to some of the other podcasts?
Oh, yeah.
and stuff.
And that was fun. And
Yeah,
that was good.
I
And
bet.
actually, and there's Woodhull, the Woodhull organization for it used to be for sexual freedom. I think they've had to take the word sexual out to get big sponsors. But anyway, an amazing group that does so much to protect people's rights and individuality. They had a table there,
Mhm.
and clearly, right now with all the laws and
Mhm.
Roe v. Wade, they're very busy. But I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get
Oh, I would love that.
the
yeah.
chair or the direct CEO of that organization
Absolutely.
is hopefully, they said they're going to talk to her and see if she'll
Oh,
come on
that
our
would be
show, which would be
great.
amazing.
Yeah,
'cause-
that would be a great episode to
Yeah.
do, especially now. I know it's your,
Yeah.
it's your thing and stuff. So I'm sure.
yeah. And they
it'd
do
be
a big
great.
conference
Yeah.
every year and really focus on
Yeah,
education and stuff.
yeah.
So that
and we
was
can also
very
talk
cool
about
and
like
nice.
a lot. I'm sure they do a lot of outreach in different areas. So
Yeah.
very
Yeah, so
cool.
there's a bunch. So you'll see we've got several people lined up from there,
Okay,
from the
cool.
conference and stuff
Great.
that will be on. The hypnosis person, I
Awesome.
think is totally, I'm so excited about having that. So she'll come on.
definitely.
Yeah. And
Or
there's-
is one of us going to get hypnotized?
well, that's what she would like to
I
do. You will?
volunteer.
Oh,
Hell
good. Because
yeah.
I was a little
Yeah.
nervous about
I'll definitely get
Oh,
hypnotized.
okay. That
Hypnotized.
I'm not a
Hypnotizing.
trusting person as it is.
Hell
Right.
yeah.
So I'm not about to let somebody who I don't know hypnotise me and try to turn me into a chicken. For the
I've
rest of my life.
I've never gotten hypnotized, and so I'm like very curious as like I'm also a little bit like Aaron skeptical, like is it really going to work and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely
I've done hypnosis once and
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
so,
It's interesting because
yeah.
I remember we did an episode a few weeks ago about, I forgot what it was about, where we talked about hypnosis as one of the rape fantasy one.
Oh,
And
right.
remember hypnosis fell under that
Consensual
category.
non-consent.
And we were kind of debating whether that
Yeah.
was like one of the, like it was okay for that to be under that because you're not really under control. But I'm
Yeah.
really excited. That
Oh,
sounds
good.
awesome. So
I
Yeah.
love it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think if y'all are good, I think we need to break now. And I think though, our next episode, I think there's still more. I want to talk
Mhm.
about the Sexual Freedom Parade. I
Mhm.
want to
Oh, yeah.
tell you about the +1 room that I think
For
you'll just be
sure.
bonkers about.
yeah.
And I don't know how many other memories we've got from
Yeah.
that, but
I mean, good God.
I think
Yes.
I need the next episode. Just like I want to hear all the really like wild, stories or like things that you guys did and stuff. So
Oh, we
You're
were
gonna get
so
bored with the
good,
stuff
right?
I-
no, well, not wild stories, but just kind of like the the fun, crazier
the
things that you
interesting.
guys saw. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be good.
But
Oh, and I saw Colette's. I went to Colette's too.
Oh,
so-
great. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
I
So
walked by it.
yeah, there you go.
There was a line
So-
to get in, and I was like,
Oh, there was a
I'm
line?
not gonna
Good,
go.
That's cool.
yeah,
I'm glad for them.
I walked by because I was walking around the
I'm
quarter
sure they
and
were
stuff
so
like that.
busy.
And like when you go, you get a free admission one of the nights to go in and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I could go in and actually see it because we talked about it when we were there in
Yeah.
Houston.
Right.
And John and Jackie were like, yeah, we'll show you around. We'll love to see it because I'm a very big into
Yeah.
that old New Orleans architecture stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and that one's like beautiful.
And then I
that
looked at the
one.
line
Yeah.
and I was like, there's no way I'm bothering them on a work night like this.
No,
They've
no,
got to be
no.
running around with
Yeah.
their fucking hair on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were
The
quite
line was
busy.
a block and a half long
Oh my God, that's
of
awesome.
people just waiting to get in. I was like,
Aw.
motherfucker, like they've
That's
got to be at
awesome.
capacity.
I love that
So,
for them.
yeah.
Good. Yes.
Yes.
Highly recommend Colette. So, okay, then we're going to have to sign off now, folks. But I promise next week, come back.
We'll
You'll
talk
wa-
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll want to
God.
hear some of the
For
juicy
sure.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
all right, cool. Well, thanks so much again. I'm Beth Darling, Sexy Genius. You go to bethdarling.com and find the different classes and everything. And thank you, Aaron and Tina. I'm almost glad that you weren't there, Tina, because it's
Mhm.
so much fun sharing with you now. And then, like I said,
Mhm.
next year we're definitely
Oh,
going back.
I'm so excited. Yeah, it's
All right.
already in our calendar.
Yes,
so.
it'll be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much. Big hugs. And thanks for joining us for Come With Us podcast. Everything from dating to squirting, kinky to furry, love and heartbreak. Everything a man wants to know about sexy stuff.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Come With Us podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media at Come With Us Podcast and send in your questions, comments, and confessions to comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. Until next time, keep it fun, flirty, and naughty.